The central bank is
an institution that
produces the currency of an entire nation. The Central Bank of the United States.
The Federal Reserve is a
private corporation.
This is a purely private operation.
Enthroned. Corporations.
First by inflation.
Then by deflation.
Not the federal government, not a federal agency.
Treasonous organization.
More despotic than monarchy.
Currency devaluation.
Inflate the currency.
Hidden by bankers. This legislation
dumps toxic waste to save money.
Inflation.
A system of modern slavery.
Institutions parasitically feeding on the host population.
Dingleberries.
Prey upon the nation.
Royal family, naturally.
Depopulation. Highest priority. Destruction of the Western nations' economies.
Perpetual inflation.
Money.
Servile zombie population.
Partial chemical lobotomies.
The ultimate revelation.
Bankruptcy.
Dominated every
Administration.
Times of adversity.
assassination.
President Lincoln.
Kennedy.
Assassination. Because the owners of this country.
How dangerous this present day situation.
It is interesting to me. Total dehumanization.
The corporatocracy. Machine automation.
The financially wealthy.
Orderly extermination of the population.
Outrageous conspiracy theories.
Industrialization. Digital and smoke-free.
In collusion with governments and corporations.
Clean, renewable energy.
Great majority of the population.
Turn into a catastrophe.
Domination.
Sweatshop slavery condemns poor populations.
Because our philosophy.
Specialization. Dominant families. Education.
Sets the policy.
Liberalization.
From tyranny to liberty.
This equation.
American foreign policy.
Full automation.
Aldous Huxley.
Modern communication.
Truly free. And transportation. Truly affects society.
To the collapse of this civilization.
And most importantly, legal realization.
Balanced economy.
No lawful consideration.
The money power of the country.
Large environmental organizations.
Nature of
Reality.
Real government.
Formation.
Unlimited broadband capacity.
Eliminate accidents in transportation.
They tell you what to believe.
Credits U.S. eugenicist as his inspiration.
Independent.
Debt-free currency. Conservation.
Islam.
Christianity.
Bible. Subject to interpretation.
Now, with the age of technology.
1% of the population. One bank. One army.
Social stratification.
They own everything. They own and control the corporations.
With all the misery.
Foreign corporations.
Major denominations.
Unfortunately for humanity. Exploitation. Control. Population. Pancake theory. Obama's inauguration.
Obviously.
Kennedy assassination.
It's easy to lead sheep.
Interesting observation.
Conspiracy theory. Globalization. Technology. Perpetual inflation. Greatest robbery in American history.
The Bush administration. Deprive the people of all property. The banks and
Corporations.
Manipulate and control societies.
Told in private conversations.
Total removal of sovereignty. Consolidation. Ultimately.
support for global policies. Reduce the human population.
Create untold misery.
Scarcity and deprivation.
The President and his appointees.
Third world nations. Advanced implantable technologies. Mass extermination.
Enemies of humanity.
It could power the entire nation.
American democracy.
For your information.
Taxes. Paid in perpetuity.
Power and wealth consolidation.
Invincible tyranny.
And computers run everything.
Everything.
Abusive economic manifestations. When it was fully harvested, it's 3 America's 50 states.
Hijacked human destiny.
Operations orchestrated in some way by the state.
Nanotechnology, most unquestioned faith neuroses.
Millions and millions of people were exterminated.
Operation that you see going on in Iraq and Afghanistan is going to propagate.
Or the 20% of the U.S. population.
Interface in my database.
Destroyed the image of the United States. Directed the federal government.
Forcibly sterilized 40% Native American women on reservations.
A hands-on footloose knee-jerk head case.
System I advocate.
This is a textbook operation.
Continued in many states. Aggressive sterilization.
Spawning new bases. 96% devaluation.
Underclass are forced to live as slaves.
60 million Chinese were exterminated.
Corporations.
Why I believe he was assassinated.
Invisible war.
against the population.
Further federalize the states.
Wall Street fantasies of world domination.
In 1968,
Save our planet.
Application.
Enslave the world.
Corporations
Control.
Populations.
pledged to uphold a 4-day vacation.
Disastrous rise.
Occurring problems.
Global enslavement.
Nationalist fervor.
Psychological soil.
Entertainments.
Propaganda. Religious institutions.
Prisons across the nation destroyed,
Sovereignty of all 50 states.
Without our realization.
while at the same time
Expanding the police state.
Indoctrinate.
So long as that is in place,
Worldwide economic power.
You had better wake up and
understand.
Travel up to 4,000 miles per hour.
This was the result of something that was planned.
The restriction of congressional powers.
But understand!
The issuing power.
They own all the important land.
And this place power.
It is important to understand
The elite stays in power.
until the wealth is aggregated in a few hands.
U.S. ruling class.
and
Private
Central bank being set up in the United States.
N.S.A. 103. This is a myth they perpetuate.
It's gonna fuck up the economy.
Police a string of man-made bioweapons plans.
An entire generation.
repeat the mistakes of their forebears.
The facts change.
it is the very foundation.
It states
Social stratification, social irrelevancy,
They were exterminated.
distort the
Value of money.
our refusal to participate,
The owners of this country.
Because there is no state.
People who were educated. Dictatorial situation. Mao came in, he promised change.
The United Nations.
College of Corporations.
Currency,
Corporation.
population.
Inflation is a constant
in the economy,
slavery.
there's enough information.
Entertainment.
Communism, fascism.
Oligarchy.
The money power of the country.
Few nations not fall into the money power.
Bam!
Bogus sham.
Vicious fraud.
Alan Greenspan.
Cruel hoax.
Doing nothing at all.
The entire Congress
Have been threatened.
people not elected for political office change things. They're put there to keep things the way they are.
What does it mean for society? Perpetual warfare.
We've always lived within scarcity. Situation where
The controlling oligarchy.
The religious institutions in this world are put there.
Ranging from bioweapons to rocketry.
Terror.
Relation to reality.
The war on terror.
Pancake theory.
Terror.
Raising prices in society.
So-called war on terror.
To lead our country.
Nowhere. Social prosperity. Tactics of economic warfare.
Unfortunately,
we create money out of thin air.
The money power of the country.
The Red Terror.
Impose conditionalities.
Nobody seems to care.
create monopolies.
Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere.
The guiding mentality in society.
Nope, no weapons over there.
Couldn't you see that war was inevitable when you produce scarcity?
Free people everywhere.
No.
To corruption and tyranny. State fairs.
Artificial scarcity.
Everyone wants to breathe
Clean air.
Eugenics dominated the 20th century.
Education and healthcare.
The betrayer.
Taking on the real enemy. The real enemy.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Since the days of FDR.
Not accept things as they are.
Why our lives are the way they are.
What beasts.
What beasts we human beings really are.
I'm in the moment, on the edge, over the top, but under the radar.
Nothing is more profitable for international bankers than war.
More slavery in the world than ever before.
I bought a minivan at a mega store. For the software on my hard drive is hardcore.
If they controlled it before.
1974.
Every dime would be accounted for.
Who are you really working for?
They own
Everything.
poisoning the atmosphere, human suffering.
growing every year.
Politics in
America today is identical to pro wrestling.
False flag terror.
Engineers.
Mining. Exploiting the public's fears.
Manipulating.
Closely studied human behavior
For more than 100 years.
Solely responsible for
Everything.
$5 trillion had just disappeared. They destroyed everything.
Social engineers of
Clothing. For 2,400 years aggressively consolidating.
450,000 each year.
Due to its own shortcomings.
One thing is clear.
Was adored by 3 kings.
What we have here
I'm feeling, I'm caring, I'm healing, I'm sharing.
and within 5 years,
Abundance is actually a negative thing.
Those who think it
Can't happen here.
For a building.
carefully engineered.
And all of a sudden we hear,
God put you here to test my faith, dude.
Do you realize
Greatness could arise.
philosophize
free enterprise.
Realize that we are all being propagandized.
it's time to open your eyes.
Alternative media rise
I will never apologize genocide?
Taking effective actions
to sterilize
And euthanize hundreds of thousands of victims.
And then the guy stood up and was alive. We don't even know what the agenda is.
To lay down as a victim.
monstrous myth, absolute despotism.
Communism, socialism, fascism.
This was the right decision
For the American people.
Even though it wasn't.
Wrong, blasphemous, and sinful.
Supposed terrorist acts is essentially a hidden tax.
Collapse, collapse, collapse.
What ideology drives the elite psychopath?
Religion, patriotism, peace, wealth, class, the Patriot Act.
Slaves to the will of a tiny elite.
Working for Wall Street.
Highest priority.
To defeat the corrupt elite.
Punks are running wild in the street. We know. And our food is unfit to eat.
Governments trying to perpetuate that which keeps them in power.
I'm a non-believer and an overachiever, a Top Gun bottom feeder.
And the game of perpetual wealth transfer and perpetual debt continues.
Get people actually to love their servitude.
I'm new wave, but I'm old school. And they don't have the same kind of hats you do. Good, honest, hard-working people.
Every single one of you.
And what we understand and know to be true.
And believing as I do.
They don't give a fuck about you.
They own you.
And it's interesting, and it's true.
It's efficient too.
Closed worldview.
Thank you.
And
Let's do a fucking show.
People that are knowledgeable know.
You'll be alone, you'll be on your own. Then we wonder why a UFO doesn't just land and say hello. Because statistics show.
Self-appointed guardians of the status quo.
If you and your friends and all of us together take action to say no,
The people will revolt.
Because the owners of this country know.
support the status quo.
And as we all know,
As the inequality grows,
It's in the Communist Manifesto to have a private central bank.
Everybody's not gonna make it.
shut down the central bank.
The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged.
How do they get away with it?
You sick
Criminal element.
And we are, as a people,
Fighting invisible terrorists.
Fuck that shit.
The true terrorists of our world.
the Wall Street gang.
Participate in grisly experiments.
All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy.
Why?
It's a big lie.
Debasing the existing money supply. In other words,
You had better wake up, and understand
But there are people
who are guiding your life and you don't even know it.
Society today.
wrong-headed, let's say.
Willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day.
then we would be okay.
In a private way. Mass murder and enslavement
Still going on today.
It is impossible
To expect human beings
To behave in truly ethical or decent ways.
18 suicides every single day.
in exactly the same way.
Many of the children died within months. All of them lost their hair. Some still live today.
Fraud of the age.
By working upon the prejudices of the people until the wealth is aggregated in a few hands.
And the Republic is destroyed. Potential catastrophe.
Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands.
Stabbing social workers and garbage men. Pick them up, put them in prison, and torture them. These rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. The big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. Clear-cutting forests, strip mining mountains. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets.
Pregnant wives of GIs were given vitamins by base doctors that actually consisted of highly radioactive uranium-239 and plutonium-241, resulting in violent miscarriages and the death of the mothers.
Billions are spent each year on prisons and police, while only a fraction is spent on programs for poverty, which is one of the most fundamental variables responsible for crime to begin with.
Evolve into superhumans with the aid of advanced implantable technologies. Live eternal lives and travel throughout the cosmos.